Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, thank you so much for stopping by. Let me tell you, I feel like a new person today. It has been well over a week since I've had any makeup on my face. I was hit hard by a violent stomach virus. I would not wish that upon my worst enemy. I was so grateful that Keegan could stay home for one of the days and take care of me because, y'all, it was not a pretty sight. Things were happening and it was just no bueno. Just to be in this room again, it's like, I feel like myself and I love it. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the products that I have been loving for the last month. First up, I'm gonna go ahead and mention what's on my lips. This is actually a cheater product because this is something that I just put on my lips today, but the theme of orange lips has been something that I've been loving this month. So these are the actual favorites, but I just quickly wanted to give a mention of what's on my lips right now. This is one of these Smashbox 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗜𝗔𝗟 lipsticks, which I love this formula so much. Just the normal one, this is a matte formula, which is still really nice, but when you got crusty lips right now, just from like the dehydration, I did have to go in with just a sheer gloss, but this is the shade Fireball Matte. If you've never tried any of these Smashbox 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓𝗔𝗟 lipsticks and you're on the hunt for like a gorgeous everyday kind of like rosy beigey nude, the shade Audition, add it to your shopping list and thank me later. So there is what is on my lips right now though, Fireball Matte. Okay, but the whole theme of orange lips, since it's like spring and we're getting like warmer weather and like the fun pops of colors are coming out, I've just been so into orange lips. I think maybe the soccer game before last, I went with like a neon orange lip. I'm sure some of the people there were like, wow, that's really orange, but I don't know what it is. I love the look of just like a very minimal eye and then just like a punchy, hot, safety cone orange red type of lip. This is a brand that used to be carried at Sephora. I ain't even gonna lie, this product could be expired, but it doesn't smell weird and it still works great, so I've been using it a lot. I'm not sure if it's 22 𝗟𝗧𝗧 or 𝗟𝗧𝗧 22. It's a Korean brand, but this is their Lip Jet ink, I think. Yeah, Ink Jet Lip Tat. Okay, I was a little off. This one is in the shade orange. Obviously, it doesn't have to be this product, but just an orange lip stain in general. I'm sure you can find one at the drugstore. These have just been my jam lately. I love going in and kind of creating that like ombre popsicle lip in the center of my lips. And then I will take the ColourPop So Juicy Plumping Gloss in, what is that? Audis? Audis? A-U-G, instead of naughties, Audis. Am I stupid? Is that like a trendy word that I have no idea what that is? But I will go in with this. I actually put some of this right on top of Fireball today too, so let me wipe off that application. But this is just a sheer kind of like bright orange, but these two products pair perfectly together. Obviously, I'm loving this color. I don't know what it is. If you guys have any like favorite neon orange lip products, leave them down below because I cannot get enough. I do have two other products from ColourPop. This was just the month of ColourPop for me. This is their Sweet Talk palette. If you follow me over on Instagram stories, I'm sure this came as no surprise, but it's another product that pulls very kind of like peachy pinky coral, and I've just been loving those tones. I know like in the pan, it looks very kind of like neutral, but a lot of these shades, especially like these two shades here, you get a lot of this really nice, like really rich, warm coral tone. I love it so much, and I really hope that they come out with more of these like pressed glitters. This one here in Prima Drama has stolen my freaking heart. I love it over cool tone shades. I love it over warm tone shades. There's actually two pressed glitters in here. You have Early Morning as well, but something about the texture of Prima Drama I just like more, and I think it's just the actual glitter particles in there. The way that they hit the light, you have like a taupey pinky look, and then you suddenly have this like chameleon type of like golden green. It is so beautiful. I really hope they come out with this as a single because this makes such a great eyeshadow topper on so many different looks. I've been using it so often. This is hands down my favorite ColourPop palette that they've released so far. Plus the packaging of this entire collection I really liked. I thought it was really pretty and unique. Okay, there was one other product from the ColourPop Spring collection that I've been using a ton. This is their Jelly Shadow in the shade Late Bloomer. This is another one of those really cool kind of like duochrome shift shades. So the base of it is this beautiful kind of lavender, but then once again, you have like a green and then you kind of like an interesting turquoise shade. The formula of these jelly shadows, I love so much. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of held off on ordering any of them because online I thought they were much more like liquidy and molten, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm really gonna like those. I like the consistency of the Super Shock shadows more just because they're easy to use. These are just as easy. Like while they feel wet, once they're on your eye and you pat it out and you like have it where you want it, it just kind of like dries down and it stays in place all day. I don't have any issues of it getting creasy or weird. Like even with my hooded lids, it doesn't transfer, but it's just this incredible duochrome with teeny tiny little shimmer particles. Isn't that beautiful? Even if you go in with like a warm tone crease, or if you wanted to go in and create more of like a cool tone smoky look and just pat this all over the center of your lid, it is such a beautiful color. I'm so annoyed at myself that I slept on these for so long because I feel like I've been missing out this entire time. Moving on, I have a blush palette from NARS. The packaging of this, first of all, is so just beautiful. The colors, and then it's actually like textured like this. And you take a guess of which shade in here is my favorite. If you guess this one, you are correct. Y'all, I don't know what it is. It's just the month of orange. I have to say though, this palette definitely requires a certain kind of brush. My favorite brush to use with this is the Smashbox Angled Blush Brush, just because it is a little bit more dense. The blush that I'm wearing today is actually a mixture of these two here, and I just love these blushes just because you do get that glow in there with it. So I'm not having to go in and pack on a ton of highlighter on top. I do have a little bit of highlighter on just this one here, but the blush on its own gives so much like luminosity that I don't feel the need to go in with a very strong highlighter. I haven't really played with this color here, but so far everything else I have been really happy with in the palette. On my inner corners, I went in with a little bit of this highlight as well. I like it because it isn't a stark white. There's a little bit of this like pinky golden tone to it. So I find it to be very, very easy and just wearable. Now, if you caught my previous video, which was just a kind of like full face of drugstore makeup, this has been the powder that I've been using for my bronzer. This is from the Full Spectrum CoverGirl line. It's their Matte Ambition All Day Powder Foundation. I think in that video I actually forgot to mention the shade that I was using. It is Deep Neutral 2. So this is what I've been using as my bronzer. Now you have to be someone who's a fan of these kind of like reddish orange type of bronzers. It's not something that I'm really going into like chisel out cheekbones or contour with. More than anything, just to add some warmth to my face. I'm typically not someone who carries around a foundation, or I guess like a powder foundation, in my purse just because I don't really get that oily throughout the day. But I've been loving this powder like in my actual shade to keep in my purse just because it's something that really goes on lightly. I feel like it really like diffuses nicely on the skin. And it's something that I can reapply without it looking cakey or heavy. Sometimes with some powders, I notice like I'll go in just to like blot my chin or my forehead, and I feel like the powder almost like accentuates any sort of like pores or blemishes that I have going on. The formula of this powder definitely feels more high end to me. It's just very, very silky. I do prefer to use it with a brush though, so I just have like a retractable kabuki brush in my purse that I use. So that is what I have been using for my bronzer lately. And then the very final product I have, this is another item that I used in my previous video. This is from JCAT Beauty. It's their Aura Glow liquid highlighter. This has been the highlighter that I have been going hard on all month. I have mine in the shade Moonlight. I know there's several of them on Ulta's website. These do remind me quite a bit of the Cover FX Illuminator drops. They're not quite as like molten metallic as those, but you still get a beautiful glow. I actually find these to be more natural looking than the Cover FX ones. I'm not saying it's like a super natural highlighter by any means. It's just not quite as like bam metallic as the Cover FX ones. So what I'll do is I'll just add like a tiny drop onto the back of my hand. So this is what the shade looks like. I'll go in and I'll like lightly sheer it out, and then I'll grab my sponge, just barely bounce it in here, and then just pop some right onto my cheekbones, just wherever I'm wanting to highlight. And it's just a very nice, like easy highlighter where I'm not having to go in and like blend for days. I'm not worried about it like catching onto any dry patches, just because the liquid formula of it and like how thin it is, it really just dries down to a nice powder-like finish without adding actual like the look of powder onto your face. So if you're someone who wears like a ton of powder, sometimes it's nice to go in with something like that's more liquid, especially if you have drier skin. That way you're not going in and drawing more attention to any like dry patches. Plus this is from the drugstore, so it's definitely a pretty affordable option. All right, so there are my favorites from the month of March. As always, I would love to hear back from you. Let me know what products you've been loving, what products you've been slathering all over your face for the last month. And that is it for this one. I hope you guys all have a great day. If you haven't already, I would love if you subscribed, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.